Howdy, everybody. We are live, and I have got the legendary David Rahman with me today. How you doing, David?
I'm good, thank you. Happy Friday, mate.
Happy Friday to you, mate. And I am super excited because I can stream live to Facebook again. Yeah, we got blocked last week, so it was a bit of a challenge trying to get it back. But 1 week and 1 day without streaming live, I was getting some serious anxiety over that, mate.
Well, I thought it was because you were away somewhere.
No, I actually did a live that the last full live that I did was from the beach on holiday, and that went really well. And obviously, how could it not? I was on the beach. And then I got blocked when we were doing our event last week. So not sure why. Don't know what. Maybe I swore or something. I don't know. Who knows?
It happens, but at least you've got past that, and we're here today.
And here we are. And look at that. I'm super excited now. So let's get into it, mate. Now, I have got a little theme that I've been thinking about today because this time of year, I do get a bit overexcited, and it's not because of what you might think. When I was a kid, I used to get excited because I knew I was going to get Christmas presents, and they're coming in a week and a day's time. But now I get super excited because I love doing my business strategy when I've got the downtime. I love working on my business when I know there's less going on, because and this time of year, I always start focusing on my goals. Now, I did a little live a few days ago using Abby's account, and I don't think it recorded, so I'm going to have to do this again. Because last year, what I did was when I set my goals for the year, and I always do 7 goals. Been doing this for the last sort of 6-7 years now. Taught to me by a guy, Phil M. Jones, who's a really good sales guy, and he said to me, 7 goals is what you want to do, and you break them down: health, learning, wealth, relationship, business, giving, fun. So what I did was I divulged my goals this time. Well, it's sort of over Christmas last year to all the brand partners and the people that watch us on our lives, and then I did a review to say, right, how did I get on? What was my score? So I'm really looking forward to getting my next 7 goals nailed down. I've already got a pretty good idea, so that I've got something to push for next year. So I wanted to say to you, mate, I know you're full of motivation, inspiration, and education. What do you get your clients to do over that Christmas break?
Yeah.
And what is it that you recommend?
Yeah. So what I do is by the new year, just before New Year, so I've been doing this for years, is to get them myself to have a deep reflection of what's gone on in the previous 12 months, to ask themselves 2 questions: what worked and what didn't work, and then from that to create goals, not in specific categories, but create goals of what would you like to achieve in 12 months time? What would you have liked to have achieved, and sit here in 12 months time and actually reflect and say, this, it worked because of this, or not, or not because of this. And I look at it from a point of mindset, which is they look at their goals and they might say, well, I didn't go for that position in the company, or I didn't start my business because I've still got this fear of failure, or I've still got this fear of rejection. So I get them to work on the underlying causes of why they didn't achieve their goals, or what happened, what changed about them so they achieved their goals. So it's purely from a mindset point of view, in terms of going under the layers of what's possible, and then to aim to hit the ground running. Because I kind of like, a lot of people don't like January, but I kind of like January as a launch pad, to get the year running. And when most people are trying to have a hangover from Christmas and looking themselves in the mirror, not liking what they see, and joining the gym, I think we should start now. If you want to start running, do it now. It's what I do. It's what I've done for years. I used to be the type of person who would start in January, and it takes you so many weeks to get going. So why not start in December and get going? And of course, it's great to have luxurious food and lots of drink and alcohol, but you can still make an effort because it just feels good, Grant. If you start early, I've always felt like do things, and I've been doing this since I was a teenager. Do things when everyone else is not doing it. And do you know where I learned that from? You'll probably remember this name, Daley Thompson,
Legend.
legend, the decathlete.
Legend. Yeah.
I remember reading about him, watching him on TV. He used to say, I trained on Christmas Day. I trained on Boxing Day. They asked him, what gives you the edge, Daly? What gives you that edge over your competitors? Because I remember his arch rival was a German, I think called Schmidt. And he used to say, well, when he's sleeping, I'm training. When he's drunk on Glögg and mulled wine and beer in Germany, I'm training. But it's getting that edge. So that's what I like to do and think about. It doesn't make you better than other people. It just makes you better within yourself. You feel good, and you get into New Year feeling right. I've achieved something already.
Exactly. So, yeah, and I love the idea of starting now and not waiting. Not waiting until the new year's almost like it gives you an excuse to have excess prior to the new
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
But I think there's if we're on that journey, whether it's an entrepreneurial journey or whether it's whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, there's no time like right now.
Mm,
You don't need January to be the starting point.
no.
I've got one for you that I'm interested to hear your opinion on this. So when I set my goals,
Mm,
so bearing in mind I've been in business for over 20 years. So I've been setting my goals and been on that entrepreneurial journey with all the ups and downs that come with it, for 2 decades. And so I've tried numerous different ways of goal setting, okay, in terms of and the decision making process that you go through to decide what the goal is. I thoroughly enjoy it now, but I used to find it challenging figuring out because when you go online and if you look at the sort of a lot of the entrepreneurial learning, they'll tell you set big, hairy, audacious,
mm,
unrealistic goals. Set
mm,
these goals that are off the charts.
mm,
And I did that for a number of years
mm.
and felt deflated and demotivated when I got nowhere near them.
Mm.
What's your view on that?
I think you should set these massive goals. I think that you should start believing you can achieve these goals and work backwards. So, for example, you might say, for your business, you want to create X amount of wealth or success by 2031, so 10 years, and look at that 10-year. Attach a time to it. Some people say don't attach time to it, but attach a time to it and work backwards. What would you have liked to achieve in 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years? And I think anything is possible. I really do. But I think that our belief system and how much we want it, how much do we desire it, and can we see ourselves in that position? If you can't see yourself in that position, i.e., your identity is not matching your goal, or your self-image is not matching your goal, you're never going to achieve it. And I had to, in the last 3 years, my goal was to get a book out. And loads of people said to me, well, you ain't going to find a publisher, or it's difficult to write a book and all that stuff. I had to ignore the noise. And I remember I bought, I don't know how to hear, you can get this, it's like a directory. It's like 20, 30 quid, a directory of publishers worldwide.
Oh,
I
right.
bought it. I went on a course on how to write a book, a training day, and they recommended this book. So I went and bought it. I took action, read through it. I applied to all these different publishers, got rejected over and over again. But yeah, the universe sort of conspired to put me in a position where a publisher came into my path. Very, very weirdly came into my path. So I believe that I must have had an image that I'm ready to write a book and publish it. I'm ready. So I think if you don't feel ready, you can't see yourself, Grant, achieving something. It's very difficult to achieve that. So I felt, back about 5 years ago, I felt I was ready to go and do speeches and talks in the States. I always thought, wow, if I can go and talk in the States. So I ended up then speaking in California, in LA, and in New York. So I must have created that in my mind. I was ready to do it. And when I was over there, it sort of occurred to me, wow, these people are just the same as the UK. They've got the same issues and problems, So it further solidified in my own head, for my own business, you can take this anywhere in the world if you want to. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer, Grant, that you can still create those goals, write them down, those big, hairy, audacious goals, but you just have to change who you are inside in terms of your future self to become that. Because there's three parts of us. There's our past self, there's who we are right now, and there's who we have to be to achieve that goal. And that will require you to do constant visualization exercises, constant, it's called visioneering exercises, to get your image that you are there and you are ready and you're waiting. So it's getting your energetic signature to that level where you're ready for that massive success, whatever it is. And that's the difference between people. If you and we don't know if we deep down don't feel good enough about something. We don't know. We have to talk to somebody about it. That's why coaches exist. That's why the best mentors exist, because they can identify a weakness or a belief that you didn't know existed, and you don't know it exists until you have a conversation, until you have that little conversation where that mentor or coach picks it up. What you just say,
Yeah.
well, the tonality of your voice, which belies then, I don't believe I can do it, even though I've set this goal. That's why so many people think, I miss these slides. We're back. And that's why I generally believe, Grant, that you can do anything you want to. You're doing brilliantly anyway, but you can actually go to another level. It's just having that vision, that big vision. Something that I've done with clients before, having a day where you just have all these big sort of A1 sheets everywhere on the wall, and actually getting out of your head, right? Okay, this is what I want. And the second part is the bit that most people don't get or don't do. This is who I have to be to get what I want. They do the first bit. This is what I want. This is my goals. You have to be someone else to be that. And any book I've ever read about somebody who's famous or successful said that they changed. They changed, and when they changed, they become someone different, and something happened. And if you ask them, are you a different person to the person who at the beginning of the journey? Of course, they'll say, of course. So it's up to us then to redefine who we are inside, and there's ways of doing it. The best way to do it is first thing in the morning and last thing at night, when your conscious mind is starting to leave the room. You want it to leave the room. It's the bit, it's the logical.
It's that. I mean, all the kind of the work that I do, and all the I'm working on my own ambitions, and the stuff that I work with my partners with, my mentees with, is all about trying to pre-program that unconscious mind with those kind of things. I mean, I to my left here, I've got my big audacious goal, and I'll share it with you. There isn't a deadline on it. And I'm on the fence about the deadline. Sometimes the deadline can be demotivating, but it's a million websites is what I want to achieve for Blam. And I know exactly, I've got it here. I've got exactly what that would earn from a monetary perspective. But I know that goal would be a self-fulfilling prophecy for all my other things. And then I've got I've got a little visualization. So every year I do these goals and I define what they're going to be, and they're 12 months goals, and that 12 months goal should be broken down, like you said, the path to the big audacious goal. And then I take that and then I create, I'm not sure I want to share it, it's a little bit embarrassing. I create an actual vision board that reflects every one of those, and I can look at that right here now. You know, the reason it's a bit embarrassing is because I've actually got a picture of a I'll show you. It's quite funny. Bear with me, because people might find that. So I'll just show a little. Look at that. So I've actually I've retouched what I'm trying to achieve in the gym with my head on it. And that's what motivates me from a health point of view. And then there's other bits and bobs. There's stuff on here I don't want to share with everybody because it's personal. But that vision, helping it visually see what you want to achieve. And I've got that vision board is at the side of my bed. And then I've shared this before. I don't know whether you do anything like this with your clients, but I've got a gratitude bag. So my vision board, which is next to me, which has got all sorts of stuff on it. When I achieve stuff, this is all the stuff that I've achieved over the years. This is the stuff that has been on the vision board and then has ended up in the bag. You know, and notably on here, you know, like the house that I'm in now, this house was on my vision board. I've got it on here. It's got the little thing there. And that house is now the house we're in.
Wow, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Because at some level you believed you could do it, and you could see yourself living in that house, and it happened.
Yeah, and it's I've had that happen more than once.
Yeah.
And but what's interesting is that, you know, I call this my gratitude bag. It's got a little thing up there, gratitude bag. Is that I do most of this stuff over the Christmas. The Christmas period, a lot of the stuff that ends up on my vision, you know, the new one of these will be done over Christmas. And that's why I get excited because I want to fill the bag up with more stuff, with more gratitude.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic time of the year, isn't it? We're coming to the end of the year, and I reflect a lot. And I reflect. I mean, this year I'm reflecting on all the friends I've made this year, and the connections I made, and the relationships I've fostered and grown this year. You know, so for example, we've worked together a lot this year on on Alternative Fridays, and we've given a lot of our energy and time, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully people have got some wisdom, perhaps, or some insight onto how to lead a better life and be better in business. So I've been thinking about that. That's, you know, I think that I'll be starting with that, the connections I made and the relationships I've made and grown, and then obviously the goals achieved and what's not been achieved. I'll never beat myself up about it, because it's not. I don't want to pour energy into that. I would rather say, right, I want to be better. I want to be better. That's pretty much what I think is the best way to. We've got a choice, isn't it? We can either blame and complain this or that, or we can say, no, I want to be better. It doesn't matter if we're in a pandemic. We can still do stuff. We don't have to blame anything. We can still grow a business. We can still alter course, pivot, change direction. But we still have to be mindful of who we are as individuals. And you mentioned this morning exercise on your Instagram. I just saw earlier on consistency, and I think that's, for me, consistency is like the glue. It's always been the glue. I guess you found it too. Whenever we're consistent at something, we just get good at it. and we get better at it. There's no other way around it. We get good. Somebody asked me on a
Measure
workshop.
it, David. Measuring it is, the consistency allows us to measure it.
Yeah,
And when
yeah,
we measure it, that's how
mm,
we can analyze and improve.
yeah, yeah. That's true, and it's about being improving. Somebody was asking me last night on a workshop. They were saying, "What happens if I do alternative days, David?" Well, I said, "Well, you won't get the result you want if you're going to do it every other day. It's just common sense. Keep laying. I think I was listening to Will Smith's. Have you listened to Will Smith's new book yet?
I've seen that the stuff that he's been putting on YouTube about losing weight.
I saw that too, and I ended up downloading his book on Audible. It's really good. It's well worth a
What's
listen.
it called?
Will.
Okay, I love Will Smith. He's so what surprised me about that video is showing him his demons and his vulnerability, because there's so much motivating stuff from Will Smith online where you see such an overachiever and he's such a maniac. That really opened my eyes to the fact that guy, wow, he's got the demons just like the rest of us.
I've started listening to the book, the first few chapters, and yeah, it's going to really open your eyes to Will Smith. And he was telling the story about where his father worked. There was a big wall. It was a huge wall. It was like 30 or 40 foot wide and then 20 foot high. And he and his brother were told by his father, you will create a new wall, because they had to destroy the old wall and you were going to create a new wall. And for 2 years, whilst they were in school as teenagers, they had to build this wall one brick at a time.
Wow.
Through all types of weather, through the summer holidays, Christmas holidays, they just had to lay one brick at a time. And he said that's what life is all about, laying one brick at a time. And if his father taught him anything, because his father he came across as not a nice guy.
He was a military guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, and very, very, affable to the public and charming, but he was a bit of a rogue at home to his wife and kids. And but what he taught Will Smith was one brick at a time, one brick at a time. And it took them 2 years to finish this wall. And that was the lesson he learned, that he did not and will not fail. That's why he's an overachiever.
Yeah, I mean that it's such a metaphor, isn't it? You know what? There's such a lot we can learn from bricks. What one of my mentor says to me, he says, "Be a brick." And when the first time I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Be a brick." He said, "If I tell a brick they're an idiot or they can't do something, it's not going to care. It's just a brick." And yet, it holds up. You take that brick out, it holds up houses. There's all sorts of metaphors that go with bricks. But he said, just be a brick. Don't let anything bother you. It doesn't bother a brick. I think he said brick.
Yeah. It depends how many gin and tonics you'd had at the time. Yeah, it is a good metaphor, isn't it? Weatherproof, solid, resistant.
Well, you and I both know that, especially when you're putting yourself out there, you can be affected by what other people think, by what other people say, the opinions they have of you, the opinions they voice, the opinions you think they have. And what he was trying to get across to me is be a brick. A brick doesn't care about any of that.
Yeah. We as adults, we sort of, if you look at kids, they just enjoy life and they just run through life and everything's an adventure. And I think more of us should do more of that.
Run through, 100%. So one thing I wanted to pick up on, actually, because you were touching on this, and I showed you my little, gratitude folder. The Christmas break is a great time to reflect and be grateful, isn't it?
Yes. It's a fantastic time. And I love reading Christmas time as well, and reading and watching good movies, doing all the things, and then reflecting, spending time by myself, because sometimes, being around too many people, you've got to get a break. You've got to have a break.
Yeah, and that can be that time where it's okay to just sit on the sofa, watch some nonsense,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay to reach over for another chocolate. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Your weakness, mate.
I know. I love it. I'm going to go to Hotel Chocolate today. I'm going to buy a nice, sizable box. So
just for you.
Yes, just for me. Because if you're gonna eat something, you're gonna enjoy what you eat. I want to buy that.
My wife's got a little saying about Hotel Chocolate. When you go there and you buy that big junk box of chocolates for yourself, they will offer you a loyalty card. If you've already got one, you've got a problem.
Yeah. Yes, and I have.
Enough said. At least you've got a problem.
Yes.
Self-knowledge.
It's a great place.
So with that in mind then, mate, do you feel inclined to share with us any of your potential goals for next year?
Yeah. I would like to work with big tech.
Okay, cool.
I'd like to work with big tech. That's something that I'd like to work with companies which are influencing the world. So future tech, big tech, and something that I'm really interested in and working with their hierarchy. That's something I'd love to work with. And also, I want to work with footballers. I love football. The Americans call it soccer. I love that. So those are my goals in terms of client base, to expand my client base. In terms of my book, not for next year. Well, you never know. I would like to sell 1 million copies of my book.
Brilliant.
How I get there, I don't know. I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in getting it into people's hands so they can help themselves. So that's my motivation.
I love the number 1 million. It's a great number, isn't it? Selling 1 million copies of your book. It's just a fantastic aspiration.
We've
got to figure out how we do that, mate.
Yeah,
let's make it happen.
Just want to make it happen because I think it could help people. It'll help people. So I'm just looking.
100% will, mate. I'm going to give you the plug again because there it is. Just the fact that I've mentioned it on this show should hit that 1 million, no problem.
Thank you. Yes. Let's do this. But those are my fitness goals. I want to run. I think next year I want to run my first marathon. I haven't done it.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't done it. Have you run a marathon at all?
I've got no. That's never going to be on my goal list. I just don't want to.
Well, I'm not your classic runner. I'm really slow at running, but I think I want to do it just to test myself, and I want to. For me, it would be for a cause. So do it for charity. I do it for charity because that would get me out of bed in the morning and thinking, right, I need to do this. Because people relying on me. If I'm going to do it for myself, I don't think I would do it. But I want to do it for a worthy cause. So yeah.
Well, as somebody who runs regularly, I can see that being a cool thing to go for. So you've got to pick your marathon. Let's get it in the diary, and then we'll all hold you to it.
Yes.
So which one are you going to go for, David?
I'd like to go for a foreign country. So I'm going to see. Purely because I want to see more of the city.
You'll get to see a lot of it. 27 miles of it.
Yeah. So I've thought of New York. I'd love to do it in New York. And
that would be classic, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Just to see all the landmarks. Oh, and if you're running along and you're enjoying it yourself and you're doing it for a worthy cause and you're achieving a goal. So that would be, I don't know when the New York Marathon is. I think it's September, October, which is a good time.
It's great, isn't it? Gives you plenty of time to train.
Yeah. Which is a good time. And if you did for a charity, I think it's easier to get entry into the race.
Yeah, because they're limited, aren't they? The amount of spaces. So, well, I'm not going to be joining you on that one, mate. I might come and watch you, but I won't come and run next to you.
Why don't you come over? We'll do a live from there.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
awesome. I
come
can't
over.
wait to start traveling again.
Yes, me too, me too. And we must do a a boys' adventure somewhere, you know, and get a
I'm up
group
for
of
that.
people. Let's do something like that, shall we?
Yeah, I'm definitely up for that because
Worth a chat.
although I don't like running, I love mountain biking. I like doing, walking, extreme stuff. Um,
Mm,
and anything outdoorsy.
mm.
So yeah, it's just the running bit I don't like.
That's all right. Do you swim then? Do you swim?
I'll swim, yeah,
Because I'm
yeah,
not. I'm not a. I'm not really. I can swim, but I'm not a. Um, oh,
yeah.
sorry.
I'm the
I'm not.
same. I'm not a fish, but I can swim a bit.
I'd love to do a. I'd love to do a triathlon one day, but I need to improve my swimming.
Yeah, I don't want to do a triathlon either.
Okay, let's go and cry. Let's go and climb a mountain.
I'll do that. Yeah,
Yeah, let's go and climb a mountain somewhere.
awesome. Well, we're about out of time, mate. Absolute pleasure as always. So
Yes, thank you.
takeaways, guys. Let's get those goals nailed
Yes.
down over Christmas. Set
Mm.
them for the year. I'm going to do a separate live because I don't think my last one worked. Now I've got my stream back. I felt like a new lease of life. Um,
Brilliant.
and thank you so much for that, David. Have a wonderful Christmas break. I know we'll speak before, but we won't be back presenting till next year.
Yes.
And you all have a fantastic time. Thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.